We have reached the great crossroads. Humanity is awakening. And all of you that have played your part in standing up to the censors, standing up to the bullies, and spreading the word are at the heart of this new renaissance. That's why, for myself and the entire InfoWars crew, I want to salute you all for what you've done in the information war and what you've also done on the streets peacefully. And why I'm asking you now more than ever to redouble your efforts, because victory is within sight.
Tonight we're going to look at health issues, we're going to look at freedom issues, we're going to look at what they're trying to do to our children. We've got the Senate now with Obamacare on life support. And of course, there's an update on the story of Charlie Gard where their government is trying to take that child off of life support. Let's take a quick look at Obamacare first. The Senate Republican effort to repeal Obamacare is on the cusp of defeat, reports Politico, with 2 Republican senators already threatening to kill the bill measure before they can even start debate. Now, they said they're going to delay their summer vacation. And when I look at this, it's like summer vacation. I thought you guys just took a vacation around 4th of July. There was a big issue about that. Why don't you stay there and fix this? But they're not. And of course, the 2 senators so far that have come out in opposition to it are Senator Rand Paul and Susan Collins. And of course, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Rand Paul wants to have a real repeal, wants to have real freedom. And we're going to give you a couple of quick comments from Rand Paul. He wrote an op-ed piece yesterday that was on Breitbart. We had it at InfoWars talking about his objections to this. The 2 of them said, this is not acceptable to us. We're not going to vote for this. And it only takes 3 to shut this down. Of course, some of the things that's in the bill right now, it would maintain support for Obamacare taxes on the wealthy. It would provide new financial support for low-income people to purchase health insurance, and it would allow people to pay for insurance with pre-tax money. That would be one thing I would support. And of course, we're always going to find things we like, things we don't like in this. They have to repeal Obamacare. 48 Democrats say we're not going to change anything. We want to leave it this way. They want it to fail so they can impose a single-payer system. So they're out of the equation. So it's simply the debate within the Republican Party. But if they're going to tell us that it's important for us to have health insurance, really, it's health care that we want, folks. Don't get this confused. When we talk about education, everybody says schools, schools, schools. No, well, that's one way that you can get educated. It's not the only way to get educated. And you can get health care without having health insurance, especially if health care were more affordable. That's the key thing. That's what they sold this to us on. They told us that we're going to have the Affordable Health Care Act. Remember, that's what they called Obamacare? That's not the metric anymore. They don't care if it's affordable. When the Congressional Budget Office looks at this, they're not looking at affordability. They're looking at the number of people to be covered. So why didn't they call the Obamacare bill universal health care coverage? That's where the Democrats are going with this. They want this to fail. Meanwhile, they've had an amendment from Ted Cruz that would allow insurers to sell non-compliant plans. And both Cruz and Lee said that they would not vote for this if that amendment was not there. What does the Cruz amendment do? It would give subsidies to insurance companies if they agree to insure high-risk Americans who come in with pre-existing conditions under Obamacare regulations. If they offer those government-subsidized programs, again, subsidized with what? With taxes elsewhere, subsidized by stealing money from Fannie and Freddie investors, then they could sell cheap insurance plans that were not subject to the Obamacare regulations. That's what's caused our insurance plans to skyrocket. And we're going to get to climate change because that's all tied into the situation with our children and so forth. Remember, we had the hockey stick that Al Gore loves to talk about, that they talk about temperatures rising over time and going up exponentially. If temperatures were increasing anywhere like insurance rates, which have gone up 100% or more each year under Obamacare, if that was happening, these people would be rioting in the streets over climate change. But that is not happening. Let's take a look quickly at Senator Rand Paul, because he pointed out what he didn't like about this bill a couple of days before this came out. He said Obamacare regulations, still there. Taxes, many still in place, totaling hundreds of billions of dollars. Insurance company bailouts, those are there too. And we're going to talk about the real issue of this, and that is why you can't make the decisions about your own health care. That's what the Republicans who are blocking this don't like. They ran on the basis of repeal. They got elected on the basis of repeal. And so it's important to look at the fact that they're not going to do it. They love it. They're going to keep it. They're going to put it on life support. They're going to maintain this thing because that was in the works from the 2012 election. As I've said before, you were going to get Obamacare, whether Romney won or whether Obama won, because Romney had already implemented Obamacare in Massachusetts, and they wanted to put that there. Meanwhile, Vice President Pence has backed a repeal-only health care bill. I think that's the only thing that has a chance to get through, is to repeal it first. Trump has pointed that out. The White House has pointed it out. Vice President Pence has pointed that out. They have to deliver at the bare minimum. They have to deliver on repeal, and then they can talk about what they're going to replace it with. Trying to do all of that together at the same time is just simply not practical. They need to deliver on that.
We're selling a product, DNA Force, that is the very best nutraceutical that we can produce. Dr. Group, you took years for you to develop DNA Force for us.
It's been something that I've been working on for a long time, Alex, because I think it's very, very important. What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
We chose the PQQ because it has over 175 different clinical trials. It's one of the most effective substances in the world. It works like an antioxidant. It works to repair nerve growth factor.
So this is a formula to deliver the maximum amount. It's in powder form.
We have so many 5-star reviews. I take this. This is the product that I take.
InfoWarsLife.com, and the profit we make, we fight the globals. We fight the New World Order. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.